Okay, lifter time has arrived. I got the bottom ends buttoned up. You're going to get besides the balancer, which I'll put on here in a little bit. I got the oil filter full and on. And when I turned the engine over before I put the filter on, because obviously it needed to be filled up, that's where the oil went that I spun around in that pump. It all came out the hole there. So, all right, there are actually two are the same, and one goes on this side, one goes on the opposite side, and then the other two go here and go here. So there are two different part numbers for the Gen 4s. I think the Gen 3s are all the same, but the 4s with the active fuel management, I better say it that way. Gen 4s with the active fuel management actually use different ones. They got recessed cuts here and here. As you see, they're the same. These two are the same, but one goes on like this side of the block in the back, and this one goes in the other side of the block in the front. That's the way it works. And they are, as I've explained before, they are different. When you look inside there, they have different size of holes. You look at the bottom, they look pretty much the same, except, they're different, and I'll show you why. I'm going to walk in front of the camera multiple times. Please forgive me on that. That's kind of how it works. Let me get that. Those two came in a separate box, and these two came in a box, or a bag, and these two came in a box. I don't understand. It don't matter. I guess it's so you don't mess up. They do have, like I said, different part numbers. And so, off camera, pulling the new lifters out. These are the standard ones made by Elgin. Where you at? There you are. They claim not to submerge these in oil like the old Gen 1s, which to me was odd, because that's what we did. We always submerged them overnight. That way they had some oil in them for startup, but for some reason that's not how these work. And then, come on, open them. Come on, open, I say. Now, I cut some tape here, fighting a box. And then these, I'll show you the difference. Obviously, they're obvious when you see them, which ones are active fuel and which ones are not. I've gone through this on the other one, but in case anybody was wondering what the difference are in the active fuel management lifters and the standard lifter, this one, where you at? This is an active fuel management lifter. This is a standard lifter. Notice, they are 100% different, and there's cylinder 1 and 7 take active fuel management, and cylinder 4 and 6. So it's the two outside ones on the driver's side, the two middle ones on the passenger side. I'll show you when we put them in there. So I've already installed these in there. They go in there real easy. These are the standard. Man, I hate this camera being upside down like that. This is the standard ones. They slide in the pockets, and they're kind of tight. It's okay. They're supposed to be. You're supposed to be able to turn these over and they don't fall out. It was crooked, but anyway. And the same with the active fuel management ones. They actually have a bring in. See, it's got a that perforation there, or that deal that sticks up. It doesn't have it on the other side. It's flat on that surface, but this one has that little lineup pin, and it's the same here. As you notice, this side has a lineup pin, this side does not, so these only go one way. Try to do it where you can kind of see. You got to push a little bit, that's okay. And what that's not only making it sure they're facing the right direction. It must be for the oiling purposes, because these have the oil holes on this side and they do not on the other. So it has to do with the oil getting into it, I'm guessing. So since they don't want you submerging these in oil, by doing that, see, they're all lined up now and they do not turn. And on that other Gen 4 I rebuilt, that other 2007 Gen 4 here a year or two ago, what happened was the number 1 had actually gotten wallered out and allowed this lifter to start twisting back and forth. Not only did it eat the lifter, but it ate, of course, the pocket was bad, the retainer, whatever you want to call it. The lifter was bad, and it ate the cam. So, with that said, oil is probably sufficient enough to put on these, but I'm going to put, there's a fuzz on there, I'm going to put assembly lube on everything, on the rollers, down where they turn. It's a nice thing about this stuff doesn't run on the floor as bad as the other, and I'm just going to make sure everything has lubricant on it before it goes in. I'm not saying that you can do it, you know, like I said, once they're primed it's probably okay, but I want all the assurance I can possibly get, especially with this break-in. Well, actually all the new oils not having any ZDP zinc. I know the new engines with the rollers not supposed to need them, but on break-in periods, and I don't think it's a bad idea to do it. All right, so this one is, it doesn't really matter as long as you've got it lined up, and it's going to go into the back one because that's just how I got it. It's the ones I grabbed. It goes in the back one on this driver's side, it goes on the passenger front. They'll slide right in, and they'll stay in that retainer pocket till I put the lifters and start tightening them down. Then they'll actually fall down into the cam, and you'll hear them click, click, you know, actually touch the cam. That's really all there is to it, besides putting a bolt in and for the retainer. Do that all the way around, and then they're in. Please, please, please don't forget to put those on, or in, complete, ready to go, before you put a head on, because you cannot do it once the head is on. Just, that's it. All LS motors are that way, Gen 3 and Gen 4s. That's the disadvantage to this setup, is you have to pull the head to replace the lifters. Now you can change cams without pulling the head. Because of those retainers, when you take your rocker assemblies off, you can actually then spin the engine over, and as the cam turns it'll push them up in the pockets and hold them there. And by doing that you can actually then pull the cam out, put another cam in, and you don't have to if there's no damage to your lifters. So that's better than having to pull the heads every time. But anyway, that's just kind of an FYI and how this works. And I'm going to go ahead and do the rest off camera. It's, like I said, I think my other video has it on there doing it. Obviously your Gen 3s that do not have active fuel management, and some of the Gen 4s that don't. And there are a lot of Gen 4s that don't. It seems like a lot of the 6 liters, especially the early ones I've seen, I'm talking like 2007, 8, 9, stuff like that, and the trucks, they have variable valve timing, but most of them do not have active fuel management. So I don't remember many of the 5.3s of these years, especially having the variable valve timing. And how you'll know the variable valve timing is right here on your where your cam sets. This actually sticks out, and I don't know if it has a wire harness goes through it or not, but this actually juts out, and so you'll know by looking at it right away if you know what it is. In the same way with looking into your engine compartment, if somebody's selling you one out of something that they may have put it in and they're trying to tell you what it is, if they don't know, when you look down in here, because these engines are hard to tell apart visually, but if you look down and you see your cam sensor in the front, it's at least a Gen 4 of some type, because the Gen 3s did not do this. This does not exist. So okay, I'm going to get off here, bring you back. Hey, really, I want to bring you back just real quick. I just got done putting all the lifters and the stuff in, and something that I'm not sure that I've ever hit on before. I know those lifters are really long in comparison to the factory ones. I'll pick up the used ones off the floor here, since I don't pick up anything. Get it out of there. Come on, let go. Okay, they're dirty. I do apologize, but this is the ones out of the engine, originally. I know there's a big, huge height difference. You see that spring there, and that looks then, when you see the height difference, that there's a possibility that the push rods are different lengths, and that is not the case. That's actually open. It's got something in it, but where you at? But it's actually open all the way down. So they're basically the same. They are the same height. The push rods are all the same. So factory applications, guys, please understand that. because I know people change heads, they change everything, and it changes the height of push rod stuff. I'm talking a factory V8 Gen 3, Gen 4, but especially the Gen 4s with active fuel management. It does not make any difference if they're active fuel or not. They all have the same length of push rods. So just keep that in mind. Don't panic when you start taking apart. Oh, I gotta. It's not that big of a deal. They're all the same. So I just want to bring that in because I did not tell you that to begin with. When you I kind of covered everything up already. When you look at them down in there, it looks like there's a huge height difference because you can't even see because it's too dark. You can see the active fuel management ones, but you don't see the factory ones. So everybody, you know, I would probably assume, because you know what, I didn't know. You know, when I first took this apart, or took the first Gen 4 apart, I had no idea if they were the same or not. So, but all the push rods are the same on the factory engine. So just thought I'd tell you that.